Hi everyone, in this video I'll be showing how to make grass rope. 2 years ago I made a video on this same subject, but since then I've learned a number of new things that have greatly improved my results. Making rope by hand is surprisingly easy, and it's a very useful skill to have. It's maybe my favorite survival skill because it doesn't require some unusual plant that you're unlikely to find outside of certain regions, and it also doesn't require an unlikely set of circumstances before you would find this skill useful. Making rope is useful in all sorts of different circumstances, and if you can find grass or any other fibrous plant material, you can make it, even if you have no tools on hand at all. Although a knife is useful, both to collect the natural material and to clean up the final rope so it looks a little bit nicer in the end. The first step to this project will be to collect some grass, and just about every sort of grass that you're likely to find will work, though there's definitely a difference in the rope depending on the properties of the grass or other natural fiber that is used. Grass that has grown tall with thick stems can be used to make very strong rope, but the rope will also be a little bit stiff and difficult to tie knots in. Very soft and flexible rope can be made from blades of grass that haven't yet sprouted tall stems. Rope made from this sort of grass might not be quite as strong, but it's still enough for most purposes and is easy to tie knots in. Now, the first improvement that I've made to my rope making process is in how the grass is prepared. Previously, I cut fresh green grass and began weaving it into rope immediately. And this does work, but over time the rope loses strength, because as the grass dries, it shrinks, which causes the weave of the rope to loosen. The reason that rope is strong in the first place is because the individual fibers are compressed and woven tightly together, which converts some of their compressive strength into additional tensile strength. So a rope is actually stronger than the sum of the individual fibers that compose it. But if the weave weakens, you lose this advantage, and the rope becomes much weaker. The way to avoid this issue is to make sure that the grass is dry before use. Now, some grass might be ready to use right away as soon as you've collected it, if it's been growing for long enough to have started to turn brown and dry on the plant. But most of the time you'll have to dry it some yourself, which can be done by cutting the grass and then leaving it to sit in the shade for about a day. You can dry it very quickly in direct sunlight, but if you do that, you have to be careful not to leave it for too long, or it can dry to a point where it becomes brittle and no longer bends. You have to retain a little bit of the flexibility in order to wind it into rope. But you don't have to worry once it's been woven into rope to keep the moisture content at the correct level. It will be a lot more durable at that point, and it can dry out completely and still be usable. So I have some grass here that's dry and ready to use, and a small bundle this size should start to wind a rope that's about a ½ inch in diameter. And you can change the size of the rope you're weaving simply by using more or less grass. Now, beginning to weave the rope is extremely simple. You simply take a small bundle like this and grab it by both ends and begin to twist in the middle. And as you start to form that twist, fold the rope in half, or I should say the grass at this point. Now, as you begin to twist both ends, you'll see the rope start to form between your fingers almost completely on its own. As I continue to twist, you can see that the rope is coming along quite nicely, and it really takes no technical skill. You just twist the two strands and rope is made. But you can also see that very quickly I will probably run out of grass, so I need to splice on more if I want to make a longer rope. To do that, I just take a fresh handful and throw it right on top of one of the strands, and then twist it right along with the old grass. It quickly weaves itself into the rope, and I can continue on as normal. The most important thing to be aware of at this point is making sure that both strands of grass stay the same diameter. If you allow them to become different sizes, the larger one is going to want to stay straight, while the smaller one coils around it like a spring. If you keep adding grass so that both strands are the same size, you'll get a nice double helix, which is what we're going for. So now I can continue doing this for as long as I like to make a rope of any length. But when I'm finally finished, the easiest way to end the rope so it doesn't unwind is to just tie the two loose ends together with a simple overhand knot. And I'm finished. That is how you make rope by hand. Well, here's my rope completely finished, and this is maybe, about 8 feet worth. It takes me about 5 minutes per foot to make rope like this. I'm sure you can make it faster with even more practice, though I think I'm already making it pretty quickly because I have practiced this quite a bit. But this rope should last for several years if you keep it dry. If it gets wet, you do have to remember that it is still just grass, so fungus and bacteria, all sorts of things will be working constantly to turn this back into dirt if given the chance. So to make this last a long time in wet environments, you do need to coat it with something, either an oil or animal fat, even tar, like I made as a byproduct in my video about making wood gas. You can go watch that video if you like to see how to make that tar, and you could easily coat a rope like this in that tar and it would be completely waterproof. It would last for a very long time that way. But anyway, let's give this a strength test. I'm going to toss this over the end of a branch up here. All right. So I've got this doubled over this branch, so it should be splitting the weight evenly between the two lines. I weigh about 150 or 160 pounds, so that should mean that each of these lines is taking about 75 or 80 pounds if it can hold my weight. So, well, yeah, I don't think I stand much of a chance of breaking that. I guess I would fall flat on my back if it broke while I was leaning back like that, so maybe I shouldn't test it quite in that way. It's definitely able to hold my weight between the two strands. I wonder if it would hold my weight between one of them. Let's see, I'll tie this off in a bowline knot here. And let's see if just this line and the knot, because a knot will reduce the strength of rope by anywhere up to like 50%. So let's see if this will. That's pretty impressive. I actually thought that would break on the single strand. The bowline held. Yeah, not too bad. Well, I'd say this rope turned out plenty strong for all the things I usually use rope for. So yeah, I'd say that my improvements to the rope making process, especially having the grass dry, definitely aids in the rope's strength immediately and also in the long term. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you really enjoy my videos, please support my channel on Patreon. I'd love to have more support there so that I can continue making videos like this without having to worry about sponsors or advertising rates, excuse me, going downhill on YouTube. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.